In this video, I'll be sharing with you 5 points, 5 very important points that will make next year a far better year than this one if you consider them. Stay tuned. Hello, if you're watching me for the first time, my name is Arnaud from Wine Investor. Here I talk about investments and entrepreneurship in general with a little focus on the wine industry. If you are interested generally on topics in investment and entrepreneurship, I kindly invite you to like and share the video as much as you can. Subscribe most importantly and activate the notification clock so as to always be in premiere on all our videos. The year is getting to an end, and a lot of people are possessed at this time by the spirit of feasting. Well, it's a good thing to do, but at this very same point, it's important also to, evaluate the year, evaluate the year with respect to the achievement of your, one life, big time goal. How far are you from achieving that goal you want to achieve for your life? Very important. Well, I'll be talking about 5 important points here which you have to apply, which you have to take into consideration in order to always make sure that you live years and years better than the previous ones, and to make sure that each year you are getting closer to the one life goal. Well, to evaluate these 5 points is going to take a lot of time, and that's why I'm going to make two video parts here. The first video, which is this one, is going to consider the first 3 points, and I'm going to discuss the other 2 points in the second video. So let's start right away. The first thing I want you to do, or want you to consider, is to make a balance sheet, and very important because you have to do it latest on the 31st of December before midnight, or latest on the 31st of December before 11 p.m. Why am I saying that? Because we're talking here about achieving goals, about achieving your life goal, and a life goal is something that is great, is something that really moves you. And we're living in a capitalist world, and anything you want to achieve requires money. So your finances are very important here. We have to mention that. And the balance sheet is going to help you identify if you're on a good financial trajectory or not. And I have one of my last videos talking about important points that will help you analyze your financial situation. I don't want to go too much into detail as I did in that video. I invite you to watch that video and rewatch that video as much as you can anytime you need to get more information on that. But I will just give you a brief summary in order to help you understand what I'm talking about in this video for you to go along. In life, you have what we call non-current assets, which are assets that remain in your possession over a year's time, and they guarantee the maintenance of the standard of living you've decided to live. And so we're talking about cars, phones, computers, furniture, kitchen stuff, home appliances, and all that. And the first thing you have to know is that you must have financed the acquisition of these assets with at least 90% in terms of capital proper, in terms of own money. So if you have these assets and you've financed that with less than 90% of the value of those objects, you are definitely in the wrong financial situation, and you have to make as one of your first goals for next year, defining methods and applying strategy that will help you get on a good path. Well, some people might be saying, yeah, okay, I'm good enough. I finance, my non-current assets with, I financed that with 92% profit, or 92% capital proper or own money. Well, the 8% remaining might sound small, but depending on the value of the plans you have some people having big cars, having high tech home appliances, and it costs a lot of money. And that 8% could be such a high amount of loan you must have taken from a bank that requires you to pay 500 euros, for example, back every month. But you need to know that you must have at least 12 months of you must be able to pay back that loan 12 months after having lost, a job. And if you lose your job, you should be able to guarantee the payment of your credits or of your loans for 12 months. Okay, so if you pay 500 euros every month, you must have at the end of the year at least 6,000 euros in your account to be able to cover, to assure, the payment of that loan in case anything happens. You can leave your apartment, go and live at a friend's place. If, for example, if you lose your job, but you must be able to pay back your loans. First point, very important point. What I also want you to understand is that, well, you might have achieved that kind of security or that kind of stability where you say you have 6,000 euros in your account to pay, for example, the 500 euros for the 12 months. But it must be an amount of money that is in the account, but which is, you don't just look at that money. It's there, but it doesn't exist. Okay, so it shouldn't be the kind of money where which you're going to place your hand in any time you have any small trouble or even any big trouble. So it should just be there to pay back the loans, and that's why we'll have a lot of problems. Some people have a lot of loans to pay back, and at the end they are not capable of they're just living life at the limit. And that takes me to the second point, because actually we're talking here about achieving your goals, and achieving your goals is realizing great things, and we're talking here about creating wealth. It's not only in terms of money, but even you have certain goals you want to achieve. You need money to be able to to achieve those goals. Huge money. So we have to be able to create wealth, and to create wealth, you first of all need to save money that you're going to multiply. So you're increasing your capacity, or you're increasing the chances of rapidly making money by increasing your capacity, your savings capacity every month. So you have to stop, possessing assets that just make you spend money. So I'll be talking here principally to people, young professionals who have just finished school or university or any kind of training, and they are working. You have to stop, don't buy a car. Don't buy a car. You do not need any car, okay? Because a car is going to be expensive for you to maintain. I mean, it's not like it's going to be expensive, but it's going to reduce, your capacity to save money. As you finish university, you still have a lot of time ahead of you. You're going to enjoy big cars, maintain the life standard you've had, for the 6-7 years you studied. Some people will study 6-7 years, but just because they're going to, sign a paper, called, an employment contract, they're just going to sign. They believe that just take nature gives them the opportunity to change everything in your life from today to tomorrow. Everything. So you need to buy a car, you need to have a big house. No. Stay in the same, room, same apartment, or same small room that you rented as a student for years. As much as you can. I did that for 1 year, where I stayed in my room where I used to pay, I think 180 euros. So I stayed in that room more than a year. And today I can tell you that if I had to go back, if I had to start from zero again, I will stay in that room for not less than 3 years. Take the time, you need to make a solid financial foundation. I'm not going to be talking about certain things, only about things that I did that succeeded, because of course I did great things, and I'm really happy, and to have sacrificed a lot, and I've reached a certain point. But I know that there are certain things that if I hadn't done in the past, I would have been far better than I am today. So I want to share that with you. Okay, don't buy any cars. Okay, with time you're going to reach a level. After 5 years of experience, you can get a company car that will be fully financed by your employer. So you can drive the car at your company's expenses. You don't pay any you don't pay any money to repair the car or to change tires. So everything is at the company's expenses. You can negotiate that for your salary increase, but after 5 years, when you really know what we're talking about. So at that time, you can use that car to do whatever thing you want to do. So as you start working, stop spending money unnecessarily. Don't get expensive gadgets. You can buy, for example, I see people with latest iPhones. You don't need to have that. For me, I will tell you something. I don't buy a phone that I don't possess a phone that I cannot buy 5 times a year with cash without asking me any question, without feeling sad. I have a phone that costs 250 euros, and that phone is okay. Because I work a lot with phones. I make a lot of money with my phones. I buy and sell my wines, my fine wines. I use my phone. I take decisions on my phone. So I don't want, a situation where my phone is gonna fall down, and get broken, and I start to think twice. If my phone falls down and it's broken, I just take the next, move to next phone store and I buy a new one. Cash. I don't, I should be able to buy 5 times my phone anytime, at any point in time, once a year. I mean, 5 times a year. Okay? So I don't buy expensive phones. Very, very important point. The other point I want you to know, which is the second point, is that you need to give your life, sense. Your life has to have a sense. You have to know what you are doing in life. Okay? You have to have one goal that motivates you. You have to concentrate, because we're living in a world where there's a lot of this concentration. There's a lot of, we have social media, we have a lot of people talking about anything, everything, and some people set their objectives according to other people's objectives. No. You have to know that everyone has a destiny. Everyone has something burning inside. You just have to take it out, and explore it. And I want to help you. You have to identify that ultimate dream you want to realize. What is that one thing? Like, if you had all the money in the world, if you had everything that you need to achieve whatever you want, what is that one thing? That only one thing that if you achieve, you'll be happy. What is that thing, that one thing that you think about most of the time? Because, Brian Tracy said, you become what you think about most of the time. You become what you think about most of the time. So you have big dreams. Big dreams. Don't dream small. Because when you see people, owning, for example, I don't know, for example, a Mercedes, note that these are people who actually wanted to have Ferraris. So dream big. Everything starts with a thinking. And thinking big is not a waste of resources. Okay? Thinking big is not a waste of resources. Wasting money, spending big money could be a waste of resources, but thinking big is taking you no resource. And what you need to know is that everything that you're realizing, everything that you're touching physically, is a result of thoughts. If you are holding a phone today to talk, to somebody, just have to make a phone call to somebody, it's because someone had to think about how to make that phone. If I'm talking to you right now with this camera, it's because someone had to think on how to make a camera and sell. So everything begins with a thought. So whatever thing you want to achieve in life begins with a thought. And we're getting into metaphysics. Quite complicated to understand, but I think if you just take time to, listen to what I'm saying, you're going to get it. Metaphysics is part of physics. Okay, so in physics we talk about resonance, and resonance is a phenomenon where you have a lot of entities close to each other vibrating at the same frequency, called the resonant frequency, which creates, can have a devastating effect. For example, if you have in a big church, you have people singing, and if the frequencies of the people singing, measure at a particular point in time, and and they resonate at a particular frequency, it will cause a lot of damage on the windows. We've had that, in many big churches and many domes, in cathedrals, and this same effect applies to your life. There is something said that when the why is big enough, the how is very simple. People always focus on how are they going to realize certain thing. They don't focus on why is this the most important thing I should be concentrating on. Why is this that one thing I should be doing? When the why is enough, when the why is strong enough, the how becomes easy. Because there are certain things that happen in the metaphysical world that are going to help you achieve great things. As I said, every thing that you hold in your hand today is a result of someone's thought. And any idea you have in mind is simply a vibration at a particular frequency. The more you think about that particular idea, that one thing you think about every day, what is that one thing you think about every day? When you get up every morning, or eat every day, what is that one thing you think about? What is that one thing you would love to do, which is great, which motivates you? The thing you think about every day is that thing that makes you vibrate. If you think about something every day, constantly, you are going to start, vibrating at that same frequency at which that idea is vibrating in your brain, in your mind. And you vibrating at that particular frequency is going to attract people and circumstances towards you. That's what we call the force of attraction. And these people are going to get close to you, and all of you are going to create, this resonance effect. And that resonance effect is going to catapult a lot of opportunities that you're going to seize. You have doors opening themselves for you that will just make you break through. Well, it might seem a little bit complicated to understand. How do I find myself today, as young as I used to be, and and see young as I am today? Managing a wine portfolio, a fine wine portfolio, estimated today at over 85,000 euros, and expected to have a return on investment of more than 100,000 euros net profit in just about 10 years to come. How do I do that? How do I get to the point where I own a company managing 2 hectares of vineyards in Germany, and I produce my own wine to sell? How do I reach that particular point? Very important. It's a long road. I will give you a little story. Right from the time I was a student in Aachen, in Germany, I knew wine that's what makes me vibrate, and everyone who knows me, all the people around me know wine is my topic. Wine is it. That's a subject that makes me vibrate. Not just because of the product, not just because of drinking wine, but the whole story, the whole industry about this product, it just fascinates me. And as a student, I had a lot of jobs, side hustles I need to do, in order to pay my fee or pay my school fee, pay my rent or whatever. And I always wanted to, have as a side hustle a job, for example, in a wine shop, in a wine bar, because I always told myself, instead of going and working in a factory where you're going to be, carrying heavy stuffs, why not make that same money by doing something else that you love, most importantly, something that motivates you, that makes you vibrate. And so I postulated for a lot of vacancies in wine bars, wine shops, and things didn't go well. So, being fed up, there's one day I was moving in this alley in this in the center, in the city center of Aachen, and I came across this wine bar called Champagne Elysee, at Elisenbrunnen in Aachen, and I was just amazed by the way they displayed the bottles and all that in the shop. So it got me quite interested, and my attention was quite caught very well. So I came there a week later, had a glass of wine, went back, came a second time, went back, came a third time, and I could realize now who is the owner of that bar. So I had to talk with the person later on, and I told him, okay, this is my situation. I'm a student. I work in factories to make some small side hustles, and I'm a student. But I would love to, invest this time I invest in these factories in working in a wine bar in order to make money, but to also learn more about wine, because I like a lot about wine. I want to know more about this subject. And so he told me, sadly enough, he had just engaged another student who was working there, so no way to engage 2 people. But he told me, feel free to come here anytime, to learn more about wine. And so from time to time I used to come, and that's where I learned for the first time about Barolo, about Barbaresco, about Bordeaux, Amarone, Laval, Policella, all these Italian and Bordeaux wines, and Burgundy later on. Those were the basics. And so from time to time I used to come, and and in the evenings where you had a lot of rich people coming in there, to drink wine and talk about business. And I used to help also the other workers, to sell wine and all that. And so I was very happy. But one day he told me, you know what, I can't pay you for this because I already have someone working here, and feel free to come at any time, but Don't feel free. Don't feel obliged to come here to work. You don't have to work here. But I know you vibrate. There's that something in you I can feel, and that's why I will give you this manuscript. I want you to read it because I know this is going to have much more impact in your life than any money I'll be giving you while you're working in my bar here. Okay, that was the first manuscript in fine wine investment, and that completely changed my life. And I now realize that all the rich people there were doing, because some of them used to come and drink a lot of bottles of wine that would cost maybe over 500 600 euros a bottle, and share and talk about business with each other. So I was more of like, okay, what's happening here? Why are people spending so much money on wine? That's why I wanted to understand much more about this topic. But I later realized that these are people who had invested massively in wine, and the owner of that wine bar was one of their managers, managing some of their wine portfolios, and giving them advice on which wines to invest on more. And so because I realized that I was really dealing with people who had a lot of money, because that was the first time I was seeing people wearing 40 50,000 euros or dollars Patek Philippe watches. This was my first time to see that. So that really gave me a kind of punch to really get into that and understand that topic. That's how it changed my life. How could someone coming now, I'm talking about 2011 2012, was about 2 years in Germany by then. So how could someone coming from a very village far there in Cameroon could get acquainted to that kind of society? That is simply the result of the resonance. The resonance is going to open doors automatically for you, and you're going to get at certain points where you would have never imagined to be in life. Very, very important. Get that one idea that is going to make you a better person. The third point I'm going to talk about here is, and it's very important because it's related to the second point. Filter your acquaintances. Filter the people you deal with. Filter the people you work with. Okay? Refrain from, spending time with people who talk about common topics. Spend more time with people who talk about business. People who talk about new opportunities, who are searching, hungry for new opportunities on how to make money. That should be the people you should work with. If you like, for example, going to the cinema, stop going to the cinema with people who just be talking about, what everyone talks about. People who just be talking about anything. Go to the cinema with people who are hungry for business, because as both of you are watching that movie, you will definitely, find business ideas in that movie. And when you're going to be moving out of the cinema, you're going to be talking about what you've seen in that film, where seeing potentials for making more money with time. Very important. If you like to drink wine, stop drinking wine with people in the bars who are just drinking for drinking's sake. Drink wine with people who are looking for business ideas, because by drinking wine you can talk about business. By the way, if you're drinking wine, you have to stop. If you drink 5 bottles of wine a month, stop drinking 5 bottles of wine a month for €5. You can, instead of spending €5 for 5 bottles a month, spend $20, €25, $25 on 1 bottle of wine a month. And by the way, if you have people around you, who are, spending $150, $200, on a bottle of Dom Perignon, to gain respect from other people. If you really love these people, if you like them, if you want them to be financially independent, tell them to stop spending $200 on a bottle of wine for consumption. They should, spend maybe $50 on a bottle of wine, and the $150 they should invest it in that very same field of fine wine in order to make more money and double, triple, quadruple it in 3-4 years to come. Very, very important. Very important. Okay? So, if you make jangi, because we talk about jangi, we're here in Africa, most of us here come from the African community, so make jangi where we sit together and everyone is placing money. What I want you to do, if you make jangi, and I will advise you to do that, because it's a good leverage factor as far as capital is concerned, investment is concerned. So, but don't do jangi because you just want to do. You have to do jangi with the right people. Do it, don't do it with people who are just sitting down and talking about the same thing the whole time, every time. do it with people who are looking for money, who are searching for opportunities, not for money, for opportunities. Because once you have the right opportunity, the money will just be flowing. If you have someone who is looking for money, you have money today, but you will see him looking for money tomorrow. But if you have someone who is looking for opportunities, if he finds just one opportunity, golden opportunity, he's not going to be looking for money. Money is going to be following him. Okay? So look for people, be dealing with people who are looking for opportunities. Be dealing with people who are going looking for opportunities. So instead of being in a janky group where, at the end of the year, you guys are, thinking about how to send your wives, or maybe, go all together as couples, in Dubai or whatever. You are still a young person. I'm talking especially here to young people, young professionals. No, don't do that. Go get into junkie groups where at the end of each year, instead of going to Dubai, you guys are thinking of going and visiting any company, where you can tap ideas. Very, very important. I'll give you here very important because I'm in different junkie groups, but there's one particular group I'm so proud of, because I've done a lot of things, great things in the last years. And one of the things we did is last year, because actually every year, each and every one of us tries to find in the surroundings if we can tap an opportunity for us to go and visit and spend some time. So by the end of so some people might go and ask, for example, at Mercedes, if we have people working, for example, in the automobile industry, if we could visit, for example, a car manufacturing factory, or maybe at Siemens, if we could visit maybe a Siemens factory. What I did last year, for the group is I know someone or whose father, or the family has, they're doing cow rearing, and so milking cows. So they have 300 milking cows. I'm not talking about the young ones, the younger generation still growing. I'm talking about the milking cows. Every year, 300. So each cow, because mainly pre-Holstein, each of them produces at least 30 liters of milk every day. So we're talking about 9,000 liters of milk every day. So even if we just round it up to 10,000 liters of milk every day, selling each liter of milk at 30 cents means they have 3,000 euros every day, 21,000 euros every week, about 100,000 euros every month, 1,200,000 euros every year. Very, very important. So when we went there, it was quite, flabbergasting. We were all, we could really see the potential. But, we're not just going there just because we want to, we're looking for new business ideas, definitely that we're going to be investing on them today. But it's just to gain, insight, to know what is happening around us. And, owning 300 cows is not easy. You don't start it today, they have about 120 hectares of land, in Germany. Okay, so it's not something that just started today. So, but the fact that you are not investing as as a cattle rearer or as a cow rearer, okay, or as a cow farmer, that visit gave us the opportunity to identify the problems these people face as farmers. Most of them are not, they're not engineers. They are not, even the children are not engineers. So they have a certain way of thinking. And it could give us insight and seeing how we could develop certain apps, certain applications and softwares that will help them run their businesses, easier and more comfortable. Okay? So these are insights you gain. Don't spend your time, with people who will take you to places that will just make your mind blow. Stop, you're still young. So sitting, at the bank of the beach and gaining emotions from water flushing your feet. This is not what the kind of enjoyment you should be having right now. Get it for later, okay? Save that for later, okay? The kind of dopamine you should be secreting now, and should be coming from ideas that simply make your mind go crazy. That is what you should be focusing right now as a young person. Very, 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 very important. Go to seminars, go to training courses. That's where you meet people who are moving the same direction with you. That's where you meet new people with whom you're going to be spending time. Okay, but there's certain kind of people I want you to definitely avoid. One, jealous people. Jealous people. Jealousy is something that exists in life. It's talked about in the Bible. It's talked about in the Quran. You know, jealousy exists. It's everywhere. You also are a jealous person. I'm a jealous person. But you know, it depends on how you define jealousy. Okay, some people are even jealous in their relationships. But the kind of jealousy I want you to take here or to note here. These are the people who be telling you that you're doing too much. Why you want to invest in that kind of business? Do you think we don't have any other thing to do? Don't you think you are doing too much? What do you want to show? Who do you think you are? So you think you are the first person to think about that kind of business? Get these people away from your side. Because I want you to understand something. Even if you are very successful today, okay? You have a lot of money and you decide to buy a Bugatti or a Ferrari, whatever. Note that there's someone who has, maybe from Saudi Arabia, who has that very same Ferrari, that very same Bugatti, but with the difference that he painted his car with gold. You painted your car with normal white paint or blue paint, whatever. He painted his car with gold. Not gold-like paint, but with gold. So you see that no matter where you are in life, you have people doing 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times better than you. So don't deal with people who will be telling you that what you are trying to do, where according to you, it's even this normal level, they're telling you that you're doing too much. Nothing is too much. So set your goals and go and look for the people who will be vibrating at the same frequency with you, with whom you're going to be getting along. Okay? The second type of people I want you to ignore completely and get them out of your life are people who are ignorant. These are people, they might be saying things without knowing. Okay? Because of course they ignore, but don't forget that ignorance is a sin. You will talk about a business to someone and they will tell you, oh, this will never work. You need to know, you need to have, contact with the government. You need to know how people in the society know that it's never going to work. Well, how come is it that how comes that you have people in the same country? Okay, you have people in that same country where people are telling you your project is not going to work, who have invested in that country. And they have invested maybe in that same project and have even invested at higher amounts. They don't do that because they know people. They knew people before. Some people, had to get how to know the people, in order to get the business. They had to know these people because they had the business in mind. So why should you be wasting time and talking to people who don't know how to do things? Get them away. Okay? So, because these are people that will not only come into your life, into your surrounding, into your vibration sphere, and to be vibrating at a different frequency than the resonant frequency and stop you from, reaching that resonance level. But they are also going to stop you from vibrating at all. They're going to kill your spirit. So get away from them. The people you should be longing for, the people you should be looking after, are people who will be telling you not what to do. They'll be telling you what to do, what you want, how to do what you want to do better. Look for people who will be telling you, okay, I like what you're doing, but don't just start by doing it this way. I know what you want to achieve. That's your goal. I'm very happy that you have a goal. But first start by doing this. And if you succeed, you can do that one. Then after this and that one. These are the kind of people you should be, looking to maintain in your life. Very, very, very important. Okay? Well, in order to make the video short, I'm going to cut the video at this point in time. Like I said, we have a second part a second video where I'm going to be talking about the last 2 points. I give you rendezvous in the next video. Ciao.